Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to State of the Gaming Industry, episode 25. Yes, you're listening or watching episode 25. Excuse me, we did take a little bit of a break, but we are back. So we got a few things to talk about. Some big thing again, not too many stories, but the stories that we are going to talk about are pretty big, a few of them. So if you are new here, please do hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment. And if you are listening, please do rate 5 stars, leave a comment as well. So I'm going to start off like we always do. I'll just talk about like what I'm playing. I also want to add in what I'm watching too. I realize I say, oh, what am I playing? And it's like maybe one thing or two things, but just start with playing. So what I'm playing right now, I need to get back after I finish recording this. I'm gonna hop back on Stellar Blade, try to finish that out. I did start South of Midnight, so that first chapter is up, and I'll be just releasing my whole playthrough of the game. Each chapter, I think there's 14 chapters. We'll talk about some of the reviews for that as well. And then, what else am I playing? I did start Phantom Liberty. I did the update, but then I was finishing off a few quests from the main story, or before you finish the game kind of thing, to finish some of that stuff out. But yeah, Phantom Liberty, gonna get into that because like I said, I got it back in Black Friday, almost 6 months ago. I haven't played it yet, so I'm gonna get back into that, and then just working through a few things again. Not too much pressure on the whole backlog thing. Once I finish up all those, we get into Claire Obscure, which is coming out in 2 weeks. I cannot wait. That's going to be, listen, the same way I said Metaphor already, I knew it was going to be my game of the year last year. I think Claire Obscure, if it sticks the landing, is going to be that game. But watching wise, just finished Devil May Cry. It wasn't that long. It was only 8 episodes, 30 minutes each. So you could really finish the show in a day. Like it'll take you like less than 4 hours to finish. Excuse me. My review for that will be up on Monday, but spoiler alert, I did like that. I did like the show. So definitely check that out. What else? Non-anime or video game related, watching Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. Haven't caught up with it yet. I think I'm on episode 5, and there's 8 episodes out, I believe, maybe 7. But yeah, from my power heads out there, definitely, I think it is the best show out of the, how many is there? Four books. So I think it's the best one out of all of them. I do like Tommy as well. Ghost was okay, just because it was a direct continuation. It is what it is. But White Lotus as well. White Lotus need to catch up to. I'm on episode 3, so I'm gonna catch up on that, and then of course Last of Us season 2, which we'll talk about a little bit later. That is coming out this Sunday, so definitely gonna get on that. But let's talk about the releases for this week. Not a ton. Let's see. Not a ton that came out. So as I mentioned earlier, South of Midnight did drop on April 8th. If you had the premium edition, you were able to get it early on April 3rd, but it's in at a 77, which isn't terrible. I mean, user score right now is, let's see it, a 77 critic score out of 78 critic reviews isn't bad. The user score is at 6.1 though, which is pretty low. I'm not sure if people are expecting something crazier than they actually got or what, but I mean, going into it, I knew this score is around where I thought it was. I thought it might go a little higher just off the artistic parts about it, but I heard a lot of people were saying arts wise and everything, it was good. The music was good, the animations, the visuals and everything, but the actual gameplay got a little repetitive with the what do you call it, the combat. Some people say the platform is all right. Again, I only played one chapter, so I can't really say much. I haven't fought anything. It's like 30 minutes, mostly story, just setting up the game. So but yeah, 77 is not terrible. It's just the fact that people are saying with Xbox coming out with these games now, they're expecting like PlayStation, the 90s and above, like every game. So far this year, I mean, Avowed was at 80, South of Midnight 77. I'm sure Doom: The Dark Ages will be a mid to high 80, so that's pretty good. And then we'll see what else they got for the rest of the year. But yeah, not much else here that most people would know. Star Overdrive, I believe I literally just saw Beat 'em Up. Yeah, Beat 'em Up just posted a video on this. I didn't watch it yet, but he said he's like addicted to it, and it's like a clone of Breath of the Wild. But a 66, not too good. Uh, that's about it. This game, Blueprint. So this is like a puzzle game. It's got a 92, and I believe it's on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. So check it out. I don't know what kind of. It says made me feel like a genius. It also made me feel like an idiot. The two experiences are intrinsically linked. Stumbling, bewilderment, making the moments of brilliant. If you have a passing interest in puzzles, play this game. Okay, maybe I'll check it out. I mean, it's got really good review scores, and it got the Metacritic must play. So, like I said, I think it's in Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, so it doesn't cost anything to check it out. So, probably do that. All right, now with other release news. So, FragPunk. So, this game, we saw it at the. Oh, it's got a 9.5 out of 10. We saw this at the Xbox Showcase last summer, and I was like, I'm not a big online shooter, multiplayer game guy, or hero shooter, whatever the new thing is, live service, all this stuff. But FragPunk looked really interesting to me because it's not just relying on, oh, this is the best hero in the game and all that. Like, I tried Marvel Rivals, it just wasn't for me. But what this game does is it's a shooter, but then you get these different cards, and the cards will change the game drastically. It might give someone like big head, so they're easier to easier to snipe, or it might change the level design of like it does a lot of different cool stuff like that to kind of give you an advantage. And it's fair for everybody because everyone has a chance to get the same advantages. So this is on Game Rant, but it says FragPunk finally launches on Xbox and PlayStation on April 29th after technical delays. Console players will receive compensation and all player engagement rewards from Season 1. Okay, that's good. Which makes sense. I guess when you have these games that have like, progression or, battle passes and stuff like that, it's kind of unfair because other people couldn't get in during this time that they wanted to. So, but yeah, so to continue to update FragPunk with new content, support cross progression. That's always good. But yeah, so it says the PC launch got off to a very strong start with over 100,000 concurrent players. So that's pretty good. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. So April 29th. How much is the game? It's the real question. Say here, no. So critic average has it as open critic reviews. Critic average is at 75. Oh, 64. It's not good. I mean, people seem to like it, but let's see. If I bought it on Xbox, how much is it? 20. Bundle not available. How much is it? You can't even check how much it is. I just want to know how much it costs on Steam. The Steam? FragPunk.com. This should tell us. Oh, it says play for free now. I could play this on Steam, honestly. Like, I don't need to wait for it. Oh, I see what they're doing here. I see what they're doing. So it is a hero shooter, but I don't know if the heroes necessarily matter. Either way, I'll check it. I'll download it right now, honestly. I want this joint right on Steam. I gotta sign in. Okay, I'll do that later. Anyway, so that's that. Let's move on to Devil May Cry. Like I mentioned, the anime actually dropped last week on Wednesday or Thursday. I just finished it. Like I said, finished it in 2 days. And when I was typing it in to try and find the show, I was actually curious because I was like, wonder how do Devil May Cry games normally stack up when it comes to reviews? So Devil May Cry 5 got an 87. DMC, which everyone claims they hate, got an 86, but I did see the user score was like really low. So yeah, 5.9, which is crazy. DMC 5's at an 8. Special edition at an 89. Devil May Cry 3, which is a lot of people's favorites and my favorite as well, is an 82. The original is the only one with over a 90, with 94. So Devil May Cry 2 was terrible. The anime here is sitting at a 77. It's only based on 7 critic reviews. What's crazy to me is 290 users did a rating and they gave it a 5.4, which it's daunting, but other than that, it's not that. All right, so this person gave it a 0. Let's look at it from. I'm gonna look at it from lowest negative. Yeah, I just saw a 0 here. But anyway, 3. The only redeeming quality here is the voice acting and maybe the fight scenes. Everything else feels like a hate letter to the source material. Full of cliches you wouldn't expect from modern writing, or you would expect from modern writing. Sounds predictable. Every single change done to the source material is done for the. Bro, there's nothing to do with the source material. They literally said it's going to be its own story. If you're a fan of the game, especially in regards to the characters, the plot, one of the games, and it isn't a DMC show for you. Alright, so I don't know. People just complaining. I think, again, like I said, my reviews dropping Monday where I'll go into detail with everything, but I think they did really good just as a show when you take it for what it is. Like, I think when everyone's just wants, like, to me, adaptations don't have to be, hey, it was in this form and now it's in this form. Like, I like them taking liberties to give us something different. Like, I don't want to just see the same stuff over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they didn't change anything so drastic. Like, they took elements from the games and then made a show about it. I don't know. But another show based on video game that does have good reviews, is Last of Us Season 2. So Season 2, let's check in 2 because I didn't see before. So Season 1 had an 84, Season 2 has an 83. You see here, Collider said the first season of Last of Us was the best video game adaptation ever. Season 2 reinforces that further while also creating one of 2025's best seasons of TV. Empire says moving and devastating in equal doses. The Last of Us remains post-apocalyptic television at its peak. At almost every turn it delivers, prey to the video game adaptation gods as Season 3 sticks the landing. So it sounds like they think it's going to end with Season 3. I believe the creator said it might go up to Season 2. But I think, season up to 4 seasons, which kind of concerns me because I believe Season 2 is only going to be 7 episodes and then Season 3 will be the other 7. But I don't know. See, the second game was pretty long, but I don't think it needs a 4th season. I think they're just going to drag it too much if they do that. Either way, drops Sunday, April 14th for anybody, or not 14th, sorry, 13th. For anybody excited for that, which I am, so definitely ready to check that out. I'm literally waiting for my wife to watch it so she can, like, I want to see the reaction to everybody who hasn't played the games if they start the show off with, I feel like maybe, I think they're going to do it. They're going to end Season 2 with the way that the second game starts. That's what I think they're going to do. So that'll be a fun time checking people's reaction. All right, let's get into some, not even rumors. This is straight from Phil Spencer's mouth. So this is from WCCF Tech. And we have rumors, or tease rather, of the Xbox Handheld. Now, there are rumors about a Asus Xbox Handheld coming out. And then Xbox putting out their own, like, direct handheld themselves in 2027. So This is a story right here. So it says, head of Microsoft Gaming, Phil Spencer once again teased the upcoming Xbox handheld in an interview with iJustine, recorded as part of Microsoft's 50th anniversary. The interviewer asked him what kind of exciting things Xbox fans could expect this year. So she didn't even say, hey, is there a handheld coming out? She just said, hey, what can they expect? And Spencer said, I really love the work that the team did around putting Xbox everywhere and our marketing campaign around that. We always tend to just follow where we see people playing, and it's just been amazing to see the number of people now that are playing Xbox via cloud. It's literally tens of millions of hours every single month and growing dramatically. Obviously, people finding Xbox on PC, and we have a lot of work to do there. We've teased and talked about handhelds, and I'm very excited because we both travel some, and sometimes you can't always take your console or my whole gaming desktop with me. But it is really around building the experience around the person, and that's the part that gets me most excited. This is not a single device at the center. It's not one game, it's the player at the center, and make sure all of your games are available, all of your save games, all of your entitlements are available wherever you go, so that the gaming can continue to grow as a form of entertainment. So right there, he literally said we've teased and talked about handheld. So and he talks about he travels a lot. I think he uses a ROG Ally a lot. I know they got a new backbone that just came out. And it says right here, based on the latest rumors, an Xbox handheld made by Asus, codenamed Project Cannon, should be released this year. And then Asus also recently shared its own tease, and Xbox seemed to confirm it had to do with the company's next handheld with a tongue-in-cheek reply. I did see that tweet. It was like that monkey like meme where he's like looking to the side-eyeing. And then it says a Microsoft handheld. Xbox handheld is also reportedly in development and should launch in 2027 alongside the successor of the Xbox Series X console. So we'll see, but that's exciting. And we'll probably get some news of it at the Xbox Game Showcase this summer, which we did just get announced. I got the email for this. That's how I found out even about it, because they said they're not doing Xbox Fan Fest this year. It's going to be all digital, which I don't know why, unless I don't know why they want to do that. But anyway, this was the big thing that people wanted to know, because it's a company of habit. They, the last 3 years, they've been doing this like double feature thing with the Xbox Showcase. So in 2023, you had Starfield, which is like an extra look at the game for like 40 minutes after the regular show. Last year, you had Call of Duty, and then people were saying, okay, it's got to be Fable this year, right? But then Fable gets delayed to next year, which, I mean, if it's the fall game next year, who knows? But people are trying to figure out, okay, what's the big fall game this year? Could Gears E-Day possibly come? But it doesn't look like it is, because that would definitely be the double feature for this year. So it says the Outer Worlds 2 will be following the direct. So I just don't think, respect to Obsidian, but I just don't think that Outer Worlds 2 is like you talk about Starfield, a big Bethesda new AAA their first new IP in 25 years, and you got Call of Duty obviously speaks for itself. And then Outer Worlds 2, I don't know. It says join us for our double feature at 6 p.m. BST on June 8th. What do 6 p.m. BST is? No. Do your conversions. But anyway, so here's what to expect. It's going to be a look at upcoming games from across our first-party studios and creative partners from around the globe. Stay tuned immediately following the showcase for the Outer Worlds 2 Direct, and join Obsidian Entertainment for a deeper look into the sequel to the award-winning first-person sci-fi RPG. Now, I will admit I tried to give Outer Worlds a chance, and I don't know, it wasn't clicking with me. I don't know if it was like it's too repetitive, or like the system, like the inventory system, and just like weapons degrading after you use them too many times, but then you got to repair them, and then I don't know, the team wasn't moving me, the mission seemed repetitive. It wasn't for me. Avowed now, on the other hand, is is my jam. I need to get back into that. I put in like 13 hours and I'm pretty much done with the first world. I need to get back into it. But Obsidian to me, and I said this before, um, Obsidian has been kind of like what's the company? Insomniac for PlayStation, where Insomniac could put out, they put out Spider-Man, they put out Miles Morales, they put out Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Spider-Man 2. Like, they always had something ready to go for PlayStation when none of the other first-party studios had a bunch of out. I feel like Obsidian has done that for Xbox. So, they had, Outer Worlds came out before I think it came out before they bought them. Or they might have bought them and then Outer Worlds had to come out because it was already announced for everybody. I forget. But they had Outer Worlds, then they had Pentiment and Grounded in the same year when nothing else first party came out. Then you got Outer Worlds 2 coming out. You had Avowed earlier this year. So they've been really holding it down. So this is pretty much stuff we've seen already that's going to be there. So it says world premieres, first look at first party studio games and games from partners, anticipated games. So check out updates from previously announced games. And then Game Pass. So discover what games were released day one on Game Pass. So yeah, we ain't got to do a whole predictions thing right now. I don't really do the predictions thing that much. Like, it's like, who knows? The most I do with predictions is when will we see again? Like, I feel like Fable, they have to show again because it got delayed and it was supposed to come out this year. So I feel like Fable has to show again. Gears E-Day, maybe not. Maybe they'll say that for a developer direct. I believe it's coming out next year then. Next year. We'll see. But June 8th, first Sunday in June, and normally that's how they do it. So we'll be there. I'll probably stream it right away. So okay. Now the Switch 2 section of the episode. We got a lot to talk about. I'm not gonna rehash every single thing with the Switch 2 just because it's been a lot over the last week. I did do a whole 30-minute video that dropped yesterday. So if you guys want to watch that, I talked about all the, the new features that's coming out from Switch 2, recap of the Direct, the first party, third party games, the pricing, controversy, everything like that. So check that out, definitely. But what I want to talk about today is we got some more clarification on a few things. So this is from IGN. So it says Switch 2 edition games contain both the game and the upgrade on the cart. Nintendo clarify. So this was something that I mentioned in my video where I was like, it's kind of crazy how it's like, okay, cool. You're offering the upgrade pack for, I believe, $10 or $20. I think it depends on what game is getting upgraded. But then you're for people that want to collect, like hardcore collectors that want the actual Switch 2 edition and not just the upgrade, they gotta pay $80, which is a lot. And then I was saying, okay, and we don't even know if it's going to be fully on cart, which is even crazier because it's like, okay, then I might as well just upgrade it because that's like buying the Switch 1 version if I have to pay for extra money to download a upgrade. But it says here, Nintendo has confirmed that Switch 2 edition games contain both the game and the upgrade on the cartridge itself. Confusion arose after conflicting reports based on comments from customer service staff suggesting Switch 2 edition games may not include the game itself. And this is why someone said it on Reddit too. They said you cannot listen to customer service reps. They don't always know. Like, these people, if any adult watching this, when you've worked at companies, you may not necessarily be like, I've worked for food companies, I worked for shipping companies, I worked for I've worked for a bunch of companies. It's like, you may not know anything about that industry. You just came there because you have the skills to work there. So working in customer service for a video game company, who knows? They could be from anywhere. They don't know everything. So you can't take that for face value. You got to listen to the official reports. So it says, however, in a statement to Vooks, Nintendo clarified that this is not the case, although pointed out that some publishers may release Switch 2 edition games as download codes in physical packaging with no game card, which I don't know. I think we need to stop doing. What is the point of getting a case? Or like, you want to talk about saving money with physical? Why are you bothering to sell cases with a physical with a code in it? It's just dumb. So Nintendo statement is physical version of the Nintendo Switch 2 edition games will include the original Nintendo Switch game and its upgrade pack all on the same game card. So i.e., or in other words, they are exclusively Nintendo Switch 2 game cards with no download code. Alternatively, some publishers may release Switch 2 edition games as download codes and physical packaging with no game card. So that's still kind of disappointing for a lot of people because yes, the main first, if you're talking about value wise, like collectors and they want like games that maintain their value, like Nintendo first party games maintain their value, and that's important for a lot of people. So that's good to know that Nintendo's taking those steps. But as far as third party publishers, they're like, listen, people want to do what they want to do, especially because these carts cost so much. Like CD Projekt Red is buying a 64 gigabyte cart, and obviously they made a lot of money off of Cyberpunk, but those are very expensive. And they're doing that just to put everything on the cart. But a lot of publishers ain't willing to do that, especially because people got to realize these third party supporters are looking at the Switch as, I won't call it an afterthought because they know there's money to be made there, but they know the Switch player in general doesn't care that much about that kind of stuff. Like, I gotta like a lot of people just download the game anyway, or whatever. Like, or they pick it up if it's just a download code and they're picking it up at Target, whatever. Do that. This whole it got to be fully on the card, and all, like they don't care about that. They're not trying to pay 35, 36, however much money it is for a card. It's not worth it to them. So $80 Switch 2 edition games include Kirby and the Forgotten Land, plus Star Cross World, Super Mario Jamboree plus Jamboree TV, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition. So that's good though, because listen, people want the full game on the card, especially Switch, because Nintendo was seen as the last defense against this fully digital future as far as gaming goes. So people were kind of upset when they're seeing some of these games are not fully on the thing. Like it says here, Street Fighter 6, Bravely Default Remastered, their game key card um, in the game. So every game keycard case will be appropriately labeled on the lower portion of the front box. So if you're concerned about what exactly you're purchasing, you should have a heads up right away. So Switch 2 game keycards are physical cards that only contain a key download for your chosen game. So there's no actual game there's no actual game data on the card you insert into your Switch 2. You'll need to download it once the card's inserted. Oh man, that's disgusting. You honestly might as well just buy digital. Because if you're talking about long term, if you don't plan to trade or sell your game like early on and you plan to have it long term, then you might as well just buy it digital. Or sorry, if you plan to have it long term, you might as well just buy it digital because it doesn't make sense to just keep. Another Switch news. So the president has put a pause on a lot of these tariffs, and that was another concern for a lot of people. We were supposed to be putting in pre-orders for the Switch 2 days ago. Other countries have been able to, like in Europe. Some people have been trying to do pre-orders and send it to the US. Those are getting canceled or not being able to be shipped. Canada delayed their pre-orders because they know people are going to try and everybody doing whatever they can to get these systems. But it says here, so in the wake of a crumbling global market, US President Donald Trump announced today that he is scaling back his original tariff plan, lowering tariffs significantly, basically everywhere except China. So right now, again, I know people don't want to talk about politics, whatever, but it's here now. You can't, it's unavoidable. But basically, the US and China specifically are just going bar for bar, shot for shot with these tariffs and reciprocal tariffs and all this. Last one we did, I think it was like 150% or something crazy. Like, it's getting crazy. But Nintendo did move their manufacturing over to Vietnam to avoid this, I think, a couple years ago. So hopefully that does work out. It says Trump said on Wednesday that tariffs in most places will be lowered to 10%, but China's facing an increase of 125% tariff rate. Both rate changes take effect immediately. Overall, Trump said he's initiating a 90-day pause on new tariff deals. So 90 days from today is July 8th, and the switch drops June 5th. So hopefully that works. So yeah, it's funny. So it says after the first Trump presidency, Nintendo shifted some of their manufacturing to Vietnam and Cambodia in response to Trump's position on trade with China. So apparently he's been on this for a while. I guess people just weren't paying attention because it wasn't this much, and the Switch 2 wasn't 400, or the original Switch wasn't $450. So but it says 50% of the Switch 2 production has come out of Vietnam and Cambodia in recent months. The tariff rate for these countries as of last week was 46 to 49%, but now it's 10% effective immediately. So in theory, this should help them move these units, but no one knows for sure. So yeah, it says Nico Partners analyst Daniel Ahmed said he expects Nintendo to take advantage of this situation and ship even more Switch consoles to the US, which I think they will too. This doesn't rule out a price increase in the future or potential supply problems. Even before all the trade tariffs, they ship some units to the United States in warehouses over here. So yeah, they're trying to get more information, but basically, like I said, everyone talk about, keep the politics out. Listen, once it comes to prices and hitting your wallet, you're going to have to pay attention to politics. Everybody learned what a tariff is recently, but yeah, I think they'll take advantage. And I'll be honest, all this hype and noise, I know people are mad about the price and all that, but just knowing about the tariffs and all this kind of stuff, the fact that we might, the pre-orders and everything might be imminent, and the looming thought about this game, the system possibly going up in price later on, and the volatility of the economy right now and the stock market and everything, is people going to try and get this thing now. And that was kind of my thought process behind it, because I said I plan to get the bundle because not buying $80 game. But my thought process is, okay, either you want to pay the $450 or the $500, whatever, which one version you get. If you're going to pay it now, or you're going to pay it later, and if you pay it later, you may actually be paying more than you're paying now. Like, no, it's like in a rush to buy it, but at the same time, it's like if you're going to pay it, you're going to pay it. Like, it all depends on your financial situation, obviously, but it's like waiting doesn't help. I think getting it early or getting as soon as you can. If you plan on getting it in general, you might as well. So that's the word on that. Hopefully we'll hear something soon, and I think Nintendo will take advantage and try and ship as many as they can to the United States, because they know the demand is going to be there, and they don't know what's going to happen with the tariffs, and of course they're going to need something for when the holiday season comes around. So we can expect to see that. But last bit of Switch news. So this was surprising. So Hades 2 is coming to Switch and Switch 2 as a timed exclusive. And now, I mentioned this in my video about the Switch with the Dustbloods game coming from FromSoft, and I'm so surprised that, number one, after all these companies were talking about console exclusives not trying to be a thing anymore because they're making more money, with the amount of money it costs to make these games. They're making more money trying to just spread their wealth wherever they want to be. The timed exclusivity hasn't really been, that, or maybe, who knows? I think Dustbloods might be a timed exclusive as well, but it's just weird that these companies are choosing Nintendo to do this. I think Hades is a good bet, especially being console exclusive. It's going to be on Switch and Switch 2. Switch already has 150 million people, so they'll be all right. It's just weird because the early access has been on PC, and we're seeing this a lot. PC gamers have been, it's like a joke, like PC Master Race or whatever, but like they've been eating with this stuff. Like we talked about FragPunk, like they didn't have to worry about the console stuff. Like PC ports have been, I don't know, I guess because Steam is easier to release on or GOG or whatever, it's like easier to optimize that these games are coming out sooner for these than consoles. So it says right here, we don't have a firm release date, but this is from IGN. Developer Supergiant confirmed the highly anticipated sequel would release on PC and Switch 2, as well as the OG Switch at the same time later this year. I don't know what's taking this game so long, bro. But yeah, version 1.0 will launch simultaneously on our early access platforms, Steam and Epic Game Store, Nintendo Switch, and the original, or Nintendo Switch 2 and the original Switch. So, but that's kind of crazy because if we don't even have a release date yet, and we're in April, and it's supposed to be a timed exclusive, like a timed exclusivity to me, the shortest I've seen is like 3 months. So let's say at the earliest it dropped in June, which I don't think it would, because they would have said that at the direct. Let's say it dropped in, man, I can't even imagine when it's going to actually drop. They don't have a date yet. Like, where are they waiting for? September? Like, we're talking about 2026 for PlayStation and Xbox, and people were playing it in early access on Steam last year. So I don't know. I think it's whatever, but I don't know. On exclusivity, it is what it is. As long as it's not console exclusive, I guess, then it doesn't matter. But shout out to Nintendo getting that, because a lot of people love the first Hades 2 that people have played early access. They really like this, so good on them. But so that's all the Switch 2 news for now. Again, just there's something new every day. I think Doug Bowser or somebody said, hey, if you can't afford it, we got the original Switch, which is when the Xbox One came out, they said, oh, buy the Xbox 360 if you can't afford it. I don't know. Sometimes these companies, they be saying stuff that they don't realize have such a bad rep. That's about it, man. That's all for the news. Like I said, not a ton of stories, just, a few more exciting things like the Xbox Showcase getting announced, the handheld getting teased, the Switch 2 stuff. So hopefully we'll be pre-ordering that thing next week sometime, or within the next 2 weeks. Who knows? But that's it. Appreciate you guys for coming through. Of course, like I said, this is State of the Gaming Industry, episode 25. Watch the previous episodes. Watch my other videos on YouTube. Watch the other episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everything like that. Appreciate you guys. Leave a like, subscribe, 5 stars, notification bell, all the YouTuber stuff. And I'll catch you on the next one.